But you have to ask yourself, how do I show up despite? How do I show up despite? Right? If you truly, truly are a champion and you have that mindset and that you are going to win no matter what, then you're going to focus, you're going to put your head down and say, no matter what, I'm going to find a way, right? We regulate our own emotions. We temper our emotions. We temper our psychology. And that's all hugely part of the success of all of us. And so I want to encourage you guys to say, no matter what you're going through, I promise you this, I promise you, somebody out there probably has it a little bit worse. So remind yourself of what you're here to do, what you're here to accomplish, and the path that you've chosen, and remember that, right? Whatever you're going through, it's just a moment of time. And my family is no different than yours. I'm just going to show up despite. I'm going to show up no matter what. And we've all been faced with adversity. And so I would just want to give you that word of encouragement. So typically before I start any type of session, I always have somebody bring us out on the field. And I want you to think about a sports team. They're in the tunnel and they're going to go out in the tunnel and they're going to go out on the field for game day. And so what's that energy? What's that sentiment? What's that message that you want to share with the group? And I'm going to choose somebody that is here, and it's not going to be my buddy Joe, and that person's going to be Amber. So Amber, I don't know you yet, my friend. I'm Elias, and I'm coming in from California this morning. But I'm going to have you share some thoughts, some words of wisdom, and have you bring us out on the field on this amazing, beautiful, early Tuesday morning. So my friend, hit him with some game. Let's go, Amber. You're muted, my friend.
Hey, good morning.
You just muted yourself again. There we go. Don't touch that thing again. Don't touch it again. Just keep it right there. I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well, I have my earbuds in, so good morning. Good morning. I know who you are. You're an awesome person in eXp. I've been with eXp for 6 years, so I appreciate you waking up early and bringing some really good stuff for us today. But yeah, stay encouraged, guys. Everybody's going through some things, for sure. I'm in Northeast Florida, and I'm a resource for anybody here. I'm heavily involved with eXp. I love to give back. I'm a big heart for people. Love to pour into others. So, part of YP, love this group. So fortunate to be blessed and be alive today and be able to come to this meeting. So, I don't really know what else to share, but just listen to what Elias has to share. It's going to be amazing information. I know who you are, and you're a wealth of knowledge. And
well, I appreciate you, Amber, and I appreciate the advocacy truly on a deep level. Listen, I'm going to spend a little bit of time here, and like I said, just a little bit of time, because I just want to share how we came to this amazing company. So we came to eXp in January of 2020, right before the world shut down because of pandemic. You see, we were with a brokerage that at that time was owned by Realogy, which is now Anywhere, which is now Compass, which this whole full circle thing, I've been on the other end of it. Well, Realogy at that time purchased a company called Climb Real Estate, which was this funky kind of indie brand in San Francisco and Oakland that was super, super different. And it was just, it stood out. It was very, very contemporary in regards to style, design. Office was like graffiti walls. It was just cool. It was different. And so Realogy owned Corcoran as well as Climb. And so I just made a vertical move from being a district corporate manager for Coldwell Banker, and I went over to Climb. Well, within a year and 7 months, Realogy decided to close the doors of Climb. You see, they launched 2 brands. It was Corcoran and it was Climb, and they decided which one are we going to go public with and hit to the masses. And they chose to sunset the Climb name, and then they then they went big with Corcoran. Now that obviously didn't work out. Some markets they really struggle, but that's neither here nor there. So at that time, it left us in free agency. We shopped every single brokerage out there, and we landed on eXp. And at the time, the reason why we landed on eXp was really simple. First off, it was inexpensive to be here from a brokerage level. But part 2, and this was what was most important for us, we were able to come to this company and build a brand that didn't have to conform to any type of industry standards. We were able to throw conformity as far out the window as humanly possible and create a brand that was indicative to who we were as human beings. You see, that's what gave birth to Fast Real Estate Brokered by eXp. So we DBA as Fast Real Estate Brokered by eXp. And what we wanted to create is we wanted to create a space where people could come as they are. Rock your long hair, rock your tattoos, pull up on your Harleys, whoever you are, we want to make sure that you feel that you can express that person versus trying to fit in somebody else's box. I feel there's a lot of conformity in our business. I feel that eXp allows us to just express in ways that other brands don't allow us to really be ourselves. And so we've leaned into that. And what I find has been always a separator for us and a delineation is that when you're in our environment, it's like being in a good relationship. We've all been in a shitty relationship sometime in our life. Please raise your hand or give me an emoji if you've been in a shitty relationship. Okay. Raise your hand if you're still in a shitty relationship. No, I'm just kidding. I'm happily married. I got you on that one. You see, when you're in a shitty relationship, what happens is that you're not able to be yourself. You can't express, you can't be weird, you can't be quirky, and you feel like maybe you're judged, right? And then you leave that person, and then you find somebody that just gets you for all your weirdness, all your quirks, all of your intrinsic qualities. And I feel like that's what we've created for our agent population is we've created an environment that allows them to be in a healthy relationship. They don't have to look over their shoulders to be, oh my God, should I say this? Should I be this? No, just be the person that you are. And you have a team of people that will help you amplify that voice. And if you're on the screen right now and you're listening to this and the people that will listen to this in the future, my friends, you are the brand. There's not eXp. You are the brand, my friend. So be able to lean into who you are. And if somebody chooses not to do business with you because of who you are, good. Congratulations. Because what you're going to find is you're going to find that you're closer to the people that actually deserve to work with you because they get you as a person, right? We always try to put on this front. Be the person that you are and you'll attract the right people. And by building a brand this way and a broker's that this way, what's happened is our brand has always stayed fresh. You see, we have now been in the business 6 years, going on our 7th year. And we've always had this image of the agents. And so what's happened is it stayed very, very fresh. You see, if it was just me and Kenny and the other leaders of the company, it's Fast Real Estate, and our image, well, I feel that that could run flat. When you're always making the agent the star of the movie, what happens is that the brand continuously stays fresh. And it has been for now 6 going on 7 years. And so I want to share with you our journey. And obviously we've made mistakes along the way. We've tried things that didn't work, but what we've always done is we said, let's just try it. Let's just do it. If it works out, good. If it does, it's okay. If it doesn't, okay. You see, what happens is oftentimes we play this very cerebral game. We think about things over and over and over again, and then we don't execute. You see, at the cornerstone of what Fast Real Estate represents is that we're going to execute very, very fast. Some things will work and some things will not. And so I want to encourage you guys to not play a cerebral game, to just do, to execute at a high level. And remember that imperfection done consistently is going to smoke all the people that are trying to make things perfect, but it's inconsistent. I would rather you be imperfect and consistent, be a little bit gritty, be able to take massive action, execute at a high level versus, oh my God, it has to be perfect. Well, your perfection is sitting in your phone, not being posted because you're waiting for it to be perfect. When someone out there is posting something gritty and it's smoking you. So that's my philosophy. That's where I wanted to start out the conversation. We came here with 10 people. We're now at 230 agents. And since the moment we came on the scene at eXp, when we came here, there was 15,000 people. There's now over 85,000 people at this company. And what's happened is great talent has come to this company over the years. Top teams, top brokerages have came over to eXp. And it's created competition for us, which I love. And we've still remained in the top 3, a perennial top 3 in the entire company, in the entire world, which is humbling to say. Last year, we were number 2 in the entire company for all sales volume. To think that I'm a kid that came from nothing, kid that came from the streets, to be able to say that now our team has done $3.5 billion worth of real estate since we came to this company. I want to share this with you guys and just be very clear. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I want to be an example for you that truly anything is possible. If I can do it, there's nothing stopping for you. Maybe you don't want to build a team, but shoot, maybe you want to be that 20 million, 30, 50 million, $100 million producer. There's nothing stopping you. There was nothing stopping me. Only thing that would have stopped me is myself. It's the only thing that would have stopped me. If I allowed myself and my worries and my doubt and excuses and trepidation, all those things, I created an environment to where I no longer see excuses. I no longer see drag time. I no longer see doubt. I'm just going to do, and I'm going to do it imperfect, but I'm going to do it consistent. And that's what separated us. And that's what will continue to separate us. And so I wanted to share those thoughts and that sentiment, open it up for some thoughts or some questions or some insights. And then I'm going to get right into the framework of what we've created today. So let's go around the room. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, insight, or feedback on what was shared thus far? Feel free to raise your hand, take yourself off of mute. I love interaction. So I'll turn it over to you guys for a moment. Anybody have anything? Jen, do you have anything?
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. And I couldn't agree with you more. We stay so stuck and we're so worried about what other people think. What in comparison is the thief of joy. And we get so caught up, right, in comparing ourselves to what other people are doing. And we're not just trying to hold our own space, I feel like.
Done is better than perfect. You are the brand. Yeah, totally. I absolutely love that. Love that. Anybody have any thoughts, takeaways, or insights on the conversation thus far? And I appreciate that, Jen. Before we go any further, going once, going twice. All right, cool. All right, guys, here's what I want to share with you. And I want to make sure that I hit this home. I did have some slides, but it's okay. I'm just gonna do this with words. And if you need my slides, send me an email. I'll send you any slides that we cover from today. But what I feel is lacking in our business, and I want to go here today. What I feel is lacking in our business is being great salespeople. You see, I've been in sales since 1998, and I was 18 years old. And then I had some prior sales experience, even like 1996, 1997. But we'll talk about the legal stuff on this call. So in 1998, since 1998, I've been in sales. And what I understand at a very, very high level is the psychology of sales. And what I believe is that we need to restore the dignity of being great salespeople. Well, what does that actually mean? You see, when I say restore the dignity of being great salespeople, oftentimes people put a stigma around being a salesperson. At the end of the day, you are a salesperson. No matter which way you want to try to sugarcoat it, this is a relationship-based sales career. And you should wear that with a badge of honor. When agents in the state of California get their real estate license, it says real estate salesperson on their actual license. But what I find is that agents want to find every way to dance around what they actually do. They don't hold it as a badge of honor and they don't have pride around it. So let's pause for a second. What makes a great salesperson? Well, I believe what makes a great salesperson is their ability to communicate their message and their ability to have influence with the way that they communicate, right? And I'm not saying manipulation. It is influence with the way that they communicate. And they're able to communicate to a vast array of different type of personality styles. That is a great salesperson. Another thing that makes up a great salesperson is their ability to connect and find emotional motivators. You see, every single person has a third level. The third level on why they choose to make a decision, why they sell their home, why they buy the home, the emotional connectors, and a great salesperson knows how to bring that out of people. And the third part of what I believe makes a great salesperson is somebody that leads and takes people through the buying process, sets logical next conclusions, logical next steps, and they use words that are allowing the consumer to understand that they are in the presence of a leader. You see, my friends, you are leaders. And being a great leader means that you're going to be a great salesperson because it's never pressure. It's never a push. This is about leading and guiding our consumers throughout the most difficult time and difficult purchase of their life. And so here's what I want you guys to do. I want us to analyze. And a lot of the things that you're going to do is you're going to analyze after this call. I don't think that you're going to take everything from this call, but what I'm hoping for is you take one thing from this call, you're going to go apply in your life and in your business. Here's the first thing that I want you to check. First thing I want you to check. I want you guys to check your body language, your posture, and your physiology, okay? There's a book out there that I want you to read. You say more than you think you say. It was written by Janine Driver, and Janine Driver was a psychological profiler for the FBI. Her job and her responsibility was to evaluate nonverbal cues to see if somebody was lying or if they were telling the truth. She was a human lie detector, and it was a powerful, powerful book that I read, and I read it when I was a public speaker 16 years ago. So first and foremost, evaluate your own posture. When you're on the phones booking appointments, if you've been in sales for any amount of time, you might have had this happen to you. My old sales manager back in the days when I was on the phones, he gave me a mirror. Okay, gave me a mirror. And I remember having a smile. People can feel that smile over the phone. How was I actually sitting? Where were my shoulders? Where was my head? Where was my chest? Was I excited? Am I putting that type of energy onto the phone, right? And I remember this distinctly. He would say, overemphasize lip movement. And I've always remembered that for years. And so I really practice on how I enunciate, how I pause, how I strike down with my words versus striking up. So many small little things, and we'll get into that in another conversation. But your posture, when you're on your sales calls, hey guys, yeah, just following up. Are you still thinking about something? No, okay, great. Like this energy is not matching what you truly, truly desire, you want as an outcome. And so let's start with sales calls. Put yourself in a state. Check yourself, check your physiology, and make sure that you're putting yourself in a state. Peak states don't just arrive, my friends. You have to demand that of yourself. Get up, move around, whatever it is, I'm ready to go, and then make your sales calls. Well, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward when you actually meet a consumer, when you're at an open house. You see, I did this exercise yesterday, and I started to see some really, really profound things. What happens is that when we meet our consumer, we have to ask ourselves in that moment, how am I holding myself? How am I holding? What is my posture like? Am I subservient with my posture? Am I let me know type of posture? I had a girl yesterday, and she did this. The whole entire time, she held her hands like this. She held her hands like this out of protection. And another girl, when we were doing the exercise, she held her hands like this in front of her. Her shoulders went in as soon as she started talking to the consumer. We were doing this as a role play at an open house. You see, this type of posture says that I'm a little uncertain about what I'm going to say. I'm a little timid, I'm a little shy, and I have this type of language, and I haven't even said a word. And so what I want you to do is I want you to check yourself. You see, when I show up to this call, my lighting is here, I'm framed, I know what's behind me, I'm centered, I know what I want to do, my shoulders are back, I'm confident, I'm ready to deliver. You see, this is a choice. This is a choice. So I want you to check your posture as soon as you meet somebody at the door. How are you greeting them? Where is your hands? Are you like this? Hi, how are you? Right? You have this very timid language before you've even said a word. So I want you to check your own body language, and I want you to check your body language at the moment you were at a crossroads. When you're on an appointment, whether it's a showing, whether it's an open house, and let's take it from a showing. You show the property, they tour the property. You come back to the kitchen on a scale from 1 to 10, Mr. Buyer, what'd you think about the property? It was a 9, why so high? It was a 2, why so low? Simple, simple dialogue. At that very moment, we should be booking for a buyer consultation and setting the next step in the sales process. Well, at that moment, what is your posture saying? What is your posture saying? Are you confident? Joe, I'm so glad that it's a 9. Here's what we do next. I take all of my buyers through a buyer consultation. That way you and your wife can understand exactly what you need to know about the buying process. I'm also going to share with you my proven strategy to get offers accepted in this very competitive market. Takes about 30 to 45 minutes. You guys want to do that tonight or tomorrow? What works best? And I'm going to look away and I'm going to look directly at my phone. But see, in that crossroads, when you are going to ask them to do something next, what does your posture say? What does your physiology say? What message and vibration and energy are you giving off in that very, very crucial moment? Are you giving off an energy of this? So would you like to, maybe do a little baby teeny weeny buyer consultation? No pressure though. I hear this all the time. And this is why the nuances make the biggest difference in the sales process. I promise you, if you were in my world and I'm going to ask you to do something, my shoulders are back, my head is up, my chest is out, and I am confident about where I'm taking you next. What happens in that moment is an agent gets fearful that they're going to get rejection. Well, wake up, brothers and sisters, because that's the game that you decided to get into, was a game of rejection. So in that very, very crucial moment, they get fearful of rejection. And what happens is that in that moment, something changes. What happens in that moment, instead of being bold and instead of being assertive, what happens is that people shrink in the moment. They shrink in the moment. They went from this to certainty to uncertainty. And those small little nuances, consumers can see. The consumers can see that, wow, I'm in the presence of a leader. This person is confident, they're bold, their body language matches their words, they're taking us through this, and they are leading me. They are leading me because they are truly, truly a leader. So I want you to ask yourself, analyze it. I saw rings twirling, I saw hair, I saw flailing of the hands, right? So the words did not match the hand movement. The body is saying so much about your conviction and about your confidence to move the consumer down the sales funnel. So you have to check your posture at those very, very important crossroads to ask yourself, how am I showing up in this moment? Am I convicted? Do I have confidence? Or am I weak? Am I timid? Because what happens is that the moment you do this and you shrink, you conform because you don't want rejection. And the moment you conform, what you do is you give up power. You give up power and people feel that, right? Don't shrink in the moments, my friends. Rise to that occasion. Be strong, be that light, be energy. And so much of that happens in how you are holding yourself. Part two, what I want you to analyze is I want you to analyze the nonverbal cues from your consumers. Be in tune with them. Stop thinking about a cool, wise thing to say next. Stop thinking about how you're going to respond. Be present, be in that moment. When you respond, you're responding because you want to make sure that you heard them correctly. You're not responding just to respond because you have something catchy to say. And so what you're looking for is you're looking for nonverbal cues. When they stand in front of that fireplace and the husband puts his hand on the small of her back and he looks at her, they have a moment. When they go out to the backyard and she grabs his pinky and they're sitting there looking at the backyard. When they're standing in that master suite and they look at each other and say, ugh, don't like that. Like there's things that the consumers are saying that we don't say anything about. Hey, Joe. Hey, Jen, I saw you guys over by the fireplace and I had a moment. What happened there? Right? I saw you guys in the backyard. What happened in that moment? Tell me. Oh, well, we get to see our kids out here. We could see our family out here. We could see ourselves barbecuing. Wow, that's really cool to see you guys. I can see how important that is to you. I'm totally going to note that for all the other homes that we see. But that was a really, really powerful moment. In those moments, when you can identify how people are thinking and feeling without them saying a word, what will happen, my friends? What will happen is that you will create business intimacy and you will create proximity. And that's, my friends, how you build closer relationships. How do I know? I've been practicing this for many, many years. Go to a cafe, sit there with your significant other or a friend, have some coffee, and start analyzing people's body language. Watch how they're tapping their feet. Where are their hands? What are they doing under the table? Or is it a nervous energy? Is that first date energy? Or is that they've been married for a long time energy, right? Like start to analyze and you'll start to see what people are saying without even knowing the words that are coming out of their mouth. So that's the first thing I want you guys to analyze. Self, body language, physiology, posture, body language, physiology of your consumers. I want you to get really in tune with that. Buy that book. You say more than you think you say, and I promise you, you guys will grow. I want to pause there. That's section one. Jen, Amber, Clarissa, Andrew, anybody else on the call, any thoughts, insights, feedback on just that portion of our call? And feel free to take yourself off of mute. Don't leave me hanging, my friends.
I got a quick comment. So I think, everything you're talking about, one of the ways in which you can use the body language to your favor, or something that I do is, um, in order to determine where you need to push to get action, to get somebody to make a decision, you need to observe who is in charge of what aspect of the process. So for me, most of the time, I end up spending 95% of my time in a home with the woman. And a lot of times decisions that are made are decisions more about the home. Not always the case, so not being sexist or anything, but and then a lot of times in my scenario, I end up spending time talking numbers with the man. Because a lot of times us men are not as in tune about the details and the things that matter most. And in a lot of cases, I work in an area where there are a huge number of stay-at-home moms, and they are keeping life moving at home. And so they're going to be more in tune. And so looking at those behaviors and the things that are important to her aren't necessarily being picked up by the husband. He's clueless. A lot of times what I do is I observe, and then when we go to sit down or we go to recap, I'm actually using those as ways to avoid objections. So I'm getting ahead of them already. So I'm saying, hey, Jen, I noticed that what was important to you is the way you were thinking through what homework was going to look like in the afternoon when the kids get home from school. How are you going to be prepping dinner? And is the way of the layout here from the kitchen flowing into where the kids are going to be sitting? And so those little things that you probably wouldn't think about in the moment, they actually mean a lot. And if you are able to see those things, make a mental note, and then bring them back up during the recap, you will just see a change in behavior from your consumer, and they look at you like, holy shit, this guy's in tune way deeper, because I didn't even say anything about that. And so a lot of times that helps you get what you want. And I've also used it when I've had to get buyers off of the fence of this whole like, well, let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. And what they want, or what they've told me they want, is right there in front of them the entire time. Sometimes you got to not only lead the horse to the water, but you've got to salt the water to actually get them actually engaged, right? You get to keep their head down sometimes, and watching those body movements and what they're telling you non-verbally sometimes can be more powerful than what they tell you verbally. So
yeah, really, really good stuff, you guys. And we've all experienced that, right? We've all experienced that somebody said something and then you felt it, be like, no, there's more to it, right? There's more going on there. And like, it's the same with our consumers, that you'll find it applicable in your personal life, but it's certainly applicable in our business life as well. So that's the first thing I want you to analyze. The second thing that I want you to analyze, and I'm gonna give you some framework to kind of fix some of these things, is your verbal communication. See, what I find in our verbal communication, oftentimes what we are doing is, once again, we are shrinking in the moment. We are not using strong leadership words, and what we're doing is we're using soft language, which equals unclear leadership. And what I call this verbal graffiti, right? I call this verbal graffiti that we need to eliminate from our sales process. And I'm going to give you some things that I have prepared. I'm actually going to share some things with you. I'm just going to read. I don't have share screen rights, and so I wouldn't know how to, because we're on Google Meet, but it's okay. Next time we'll be on Zoom. So here's some graffiti to kill, all right, to remove. And I hear this all the time, and I know it sounds simple, you guys, but what you'll find is you'll start catching yourself like, damn it, I say that all the time. Here's some verbal graffiti that I want you to kill. Would it be okay if? Okay, would it be okay with? I know that it's simple, you guys, but man, I hear this all the time. Just checking in. Goodness gracious. I'm just calling, just checking in. No, we're not just checking in. We have a goal to move our consumer down the sales funnel. That type of language is very loose language that is not going to serve your goal of being a true leader. And let me know. Hi, just calling, checking in. Did you ever, purchase that house? No? Okay, well, let me know. Have a good day. and then you hang up the phone. It's not strong leadership words. It's not concise. It is not moving the consumer down the sales funnel. You hand away control before the conversation even starts when you say words like this. More authority leaks. Just touching base. Ugh. Would you like to? Can I follow up with you? Right? These are all, this is all language that is very subservient. Can I follow up with you? You're not asking for a favor, my friends. You're guiding a process, right? You're going to ask them, can I follow up with you? No. Okay. All right. Anything I could have done better next time? No, it's because you're leaking your authority. You're leaking your authority. And so here's some of the biggest offenders that I see. What day works best for you? Giving the consumer the ability to choose. No, you said it, you guys. That is old school. That is the option close, right? That is the alternative close. I have today at 4 or tomorrow at 2. What works best for you? And then be quiet. Be quiet. There's so much opportunities that are out there, but we're not guiding. We're not leading. So here's the shift. I want you to stop asking for permission. Stop sissy-footing around the point because you feel that you have to conform in the moment. You're fearful of rejection. So what happens is that you conform. And the moment you conform, what happens is that you shrink. You are no longer powerful because you chose to shrink in that moment. Stop hoping they move forward. Be assertive, be clear, and be direct. So here's how to reframe that language. This is basic 101, but I need to say it. Instead of saying, would it be okay if we met? Like I said earlier, set 2 times. Let's meet Thursday at 3 or Friday at 10. You set the standard. The responsibility, and like I said this early on, it is not pressure. It is not a push. This is leadership in motion. Each of you are leaders. And what happens is that oftentimes when we meet a consumer, we understand this at a very conscious level. When you meet a consumer is already a follower. They're a follower because they came to you from an online source. They came to you as a referral. And what happens is that they're looking for a leader to guide them through the process. You're a doctor, my friends. You're a doctor. Well, what happens is that when we get fearful and when we start to conform, when we start to shrink, what happens is that we meet a follower with follower energy. And then it's the conversation goes like this. Where are we going? I don't know. Where are we going? I don't know. What would you like to do? I don't know. It's up to you, right? It's follower and follower mentality. No, here's what we're going to do. Take my hand. I got you. Here's where we're going next. Close that door. Let's hop on a Zoom today at 3. It is all in the language. You see, we oftentimes have this follower and follower mentality. Would you like to? Maybe. No. Is it okay? Can I? And you're not getting anywhere with your consumers. You see, this is something when you're conscious of it, you can fix it. You see, the things that you do consciously over and over and over again now become part of your subconscious. And now it's just in you. Now it's just in you. This is the way that you talk. These are the words that you've eliminated. This is the words that you've replaced, and you will catch yourself as long as you are conscious of this. So remember, no pressure, no pushing. This is lead. This is you leading. Sales is leadership. Great salespeople don't convince, they guide. They don't chase clarity, they create it for their consumers. So when you have strong language, you have strong leadership. And when you have strong leadership, you create trust. And when you create trust, you can create movement. And so I want you guys, no matter who you are on this call, your language is either leading or is authoritative. I want you to ask yourself, am I truly, truly being a leader, or am I leaving it up to the consumer to decide where we're going? My friends, you are the captain. You are the one that is steering the ship, flying the plane. You are the doctor. You need to check their vitals so you can prescribe a solution for them. The doctor's not saying, oh, well, maybe thinking about, I don't know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Would you like to do that surgery so you can walk better? No. Do the surgery or you're going to walk like shit for the rest of your life. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Let's schedule that for 2 weeks. I need you to plan, prep, and prepare. Here's some things that I need you to do in preparation for surgery. Okay. Right? Okay. So I want you guys to think about your verbal language. Is it authoritative? Is it assertive? Are you coming across very timid, asking would they like to? Would it be okay? Is it possible? Maybe. Basically, these are words that are verbal graffiti. It's throw up. I want you guys to be clear, concise, sharp with your words. You are leaders first, and let's restore the dignity of being great salespeople. Part 3 of this. I want you to look at your language that you're writing. When you're writing text messages and emails, and let's say that you've worked on your assertive language. Okay, I'm being very assertive with you. I've gotten them to the next part of the sales funnel. I'm following up with them in Follow Up Boss or whatever service I use. And then I put them on a nurture campaign because they're maybe a little bit farther out. And then when they get that automated email from my CRM, it's using language like, well, let me know. Have you seen any homes that you'd like to go take a look? Let me know. Just wanted to touch base. That stuff is built into Follow Up Boss. It is built by somebody else. It is someone else's language. So now you have to ask yourself, congruency. I've worked on my assertive language that I'm verbally saying. Now let me look at how I'm writing. First off, am I writing assertively? Hey, Tom, have you seen any homes that you'd like to go take a peek? Let me know. I'm just touching base. Hopefully all is well. Have a great day. No, Tom, I noticed that you just looked at 123 Main Street today. I'm setting up tours for today and tomorrow. What time do you want to go take a peek? And be quiet and allow the consumer to respond to you. So I want you to look at your written communication and ask yourself, is it coming across as assertive as your verbal? And if it's not, fix that, right? Remove the let me know, touching base. Would you like to? No. Tom, I noticed that you looked at 123 Main Street yesterday 17 times. I'm setting up my VIP tours for today and tomorrow. What time do you want to go take a peek? And that's it, right? That is it, my friends. And so if you're putting people on campaigns, I love that, but don't automate yourself out of a relationship. You could automate yourself out of a relationship because those words are not congruent with the way that you want to communicate with your consumers. It is complete opposite, right? I'm bold, I'm assertive, I'm strong, I'm a leader. And then I put them on this weak campaign that is the opposite of that. It's not congruent. It's not congruent. So those are the things that I want you guys to analyze. And if anything, you guys are going to leave this call today and you're just going to do some reflection. You're going to catch yourself. In the moments when you're in person with your consumers, like I want you to check yourself. I had a lady, and I'm going to stand up. She was doing this, and she'd cross her legs, and she was fig leafing, and she was this, and her shoulders would go in, and and she didn't even notice. And so I'd come up to her, I'd grab her shoulders, I'd put them back, I'd say, put your hands like this. Just put your hands like this. Stop moving around and doing all this because I'm confused. I'm looking at your hands. I'm not following your words. And like once you start to check these things and then check the things that you're saying, check the things that you're writing, you're like, I'm leaving it up to the consumer. I'm not guiding. I'm not being a leader. And I'm leaving so many gaps throughout my presentation. So that's my thoughts. That's my sentiment. Remember what I said early on. Let's restore the dignity of being great salespeople. Like, let's restore that dignity. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing, my friends. I have gotten a far ways in my career by being a great salesperson. I'm a kid that came from the street running a multi-billion-dollar real estate team. What? I've done that because I'm just a great salesperson, and I take a lot of pride in it. And I do it the right way. I ask the right questions. I listen. I respond based on what I heard. And I'm able to connect and move my clients through the sales process. That's what makes a great salesperson. So I'm going to pause there, you guys. I'm going to go around the room, get some thoughts and takeaways, and hear from you guys. I'm going to go to some people that have not spoke. I'm going to go to Clarissa, and I'm going to go to Andrew first. I'm going to go back over to Amber. Clarissa, do you have the ability to take yourself off of mute and share with me one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today? Clarissa going once. There she is.
Putting me on the spot here, Elias.
This is what I do, my friend. This is what I do.
Okay, so
A key
I
thought and
guess
key takeaway.
I was gonna say, I guess my key takeaway is what you said about bringing the respect back to the name. I hate to admit I've never had a listing, and I've been in real estate for 5 years, and I keep saying this is the year, this is the year, and it seems like nothing changes. But I do I have been changing a little bit of what I've been saying, and I've been saying that I want to come from a place of care and compassion and actually feel that I can provide assistance to the person that did not sell their home. And if I truly believe in that, I feel like it comes across in a different way. And I actually went to someone's house to drop off a letter. I was just going to drop it off in the door because I know you're not allowed to go and drop mail off in their mailbox. And they actually were walking out the house at the same time that I rolled up. And I was like, oh God, what do I do? Do I turn around and get back in the car and pretend I didn't show up? And so I just had a true, genuine conversation with the guy. I mean, he expressed that he doesn't have any interest in switching his real estate agent, but it was like a switch, I guess, and it just kind of turned on. And I'm like, I actually genuinely feel like you didn't get enough eyes on your property. You have a very special, unique 30 plus acres. And over here at eXp, we have a land and ranch division as well as our luxury division to get nationwide eyes on your property. And so I just felt really confident in my presentation that had to happen right there on the spot. So I think what you were saying about bringing the respect back to it, that's kind of where I'm at with it. As long as I believe in myself and I can feel that I'm truly can help this person, eventually someone's going to say yes.
So Clarissa, I absolutely love this. And I think that what happened and what will continue to happen is that you'll start to have an identity shift. There's a really good book out there that I always recommend. I've been recommending it for years. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. Psycho-Cybernetics was written by Maxwell Maltz in the early 60s. And it's a really powerful book because what happens is that our self-image is showing up in so much of what we do, but oftentimes our operating system is an old operating system, right? There might have been times over the course of the last 5 years where you didn't feel like you were ready to be a listing agent. You weren't practicing, you weren't rehearsing. So then therefore you weren't marketing, you weren't door knocking because you didn't feel like you were confident to take a consumer through the journey. But if you can reshape the way that you think about this and update that identity, I promise you, more things are going to come to you because now you have an identity of, I am a great listing agent. I understand how to walk somebody through the process. How do I know? I've practiced this over and over and over and over again. Do I feel confident? If that curtain was pulled back on me right now, give me an opportunity, I'm ready. And when you have that type of understanding of self, what's going to happen is it's going to make you even more confident to go out there and do the prospecting for new listings. And so, Clarissa, I appreciate your response and your contribution. Highly recommend that you get that book. And Clarissa, if there's anything I could ever do, human to human, please let me know. But I appreciate you. Let's go, Andrew. Andrew, key thought, key takeaway from our time together today, and then we'll go up to Gracie, and then we'll start wrapping session. Let's go, Andrew. Thank you, Clarissa.
Yeah. How's it going, Elias? So yeah, key takeaway for me really was like the reassurance of not everybody has to be selling Sunset. And, talking about that, I think the big thing with since like our business is people perceive us and they want to be this, suit wearing kind of thing. So being authentic in your own brand, I think is really a key takeaway for me because that's something as a younger agent that I struggled with, right? I struggled with the identity of what is a real estate agent, what do people perceive realtors to be, and having that takeaway of I can wear jeans and a sweater and still sell $1 million houses. I don't have to put on airs or be this idea of what people think a real estate agent is. I can be my own brand, own identity, and that's something that really struck with me in reassurance, and something that I struggle with here in my market because I want to be different. And I can't put words together. I'm sorry. So that's
I think
kind
you
of
put, I think you put your words together poetically, and I appreciate you sharing. And Andrew, at the end of the day, man, there's a time to get suited and booted, right? There's a time to go, put that nice suit on for that, multi-million-dollar listing. But at the end of the day, like, be yourself, man. Express who you are. We built this company in black hoodies and black t-shirts. Now that's a little bit different. We're up in the Bay Area in Northern California, but we did it our way. And we never conform. And people are going to love you for whoever you are. And if they don't, then they don't deserve to do business with you, right? I don't want to conform. And then all of a sudden I start to become myself. And they're like, oh, wait a minute, who's this guy? No, I am who I am. I provide tremendous amounts of value. My energy will smoke people's energy. And nobody out there is going to work harder for me on selling your house or helping you find a home, right? That's the energy I'm going to give off. I'm also going to keep it real. I'm just going to be who I am. And if you don't like it, go work with somebody else. So Andrew, hopefully, my friend, you took that away, or excuse me, I'm glad that you took that away. Be whoever the heck you are, bro. I appreciate that. Let's go, Gracie. Gracie, key thought, key takeaway from our time together today. Let's roll, my friend.
First of all, Elias, thank you so much for bringing the energy to YP today. As the chair over at YP, I talked to a lot of young people who you touched on this so well, talking about the way you present, the way that you talk to your clients, something that I've had to work really hard on. I started at 19. Something I've had to work really hard on is not asking my statements so that, well, this one's really pretty, and that turn up at the end. I love Vanessa Van Edwards. She's got a great book on this, but when you touched on that, I was just like, yes, yes, yes. I can't wait to take some of these takebacks to our young agents at YP. And then you talked about showing up authentically. Andrew touched on this. Jen touched on this earlier. I am a jeans, sneakers kind of gal. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, so we can kind of get away with it a little bit easier than some of the more prestigious markets. But that works for me so much better than when I first started and tried to do pantsuits and I was rocking my blazer and like hated it. So those were both really big things that I took away. Thank you so much for your time today.
Well, Gracie, I appreciate that, and I'm going to share this with you because I collect records, and this happens to be here. So I have a Wu-Tang album here, and the reason why I share this with you is because you guys are all Shaolin masters of your words, and your sword is your tongue. Go out there and be masters of your dialogue, masters of your words. And listen, when I think about what has separated me in business, obviously I've energy. I've always had this type of energy. But I've become masterful with words. I've become a Shaolin master when it comes to my dialogue. And that's something that I've worked on over, and I'm still growing, I'm still learning, I'm still a student. I haven't hit my pinnacle, I haven't hit my peak. When I do, I'll probably retire. But I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still analyzing how can I put things across in a way that people can connect to. Still to this day, and it's been over 20 years that I've been in sales. So Gracie, I appreciate that. Let's get one last key thought and takeaway. Jen, we'll go to you and then we'll wrap session. Let's go, Jen.
Yeah, so I guess my major takeaway was when you were talking again, everybody brought up some really, really great points, but the checking yourself, right? Checking yourself before you start to verbally express what you're going to be bringing to the table, before you do your value add, your posture, all of that stuff that definitely hit. So I think that was the whole presentation was beautiful. Thank you so much, Elias. It was great.
I appreciate that. And I was prepared to do it with slides. And so it's the first time I did it without, but my hope is that you guys hung on to the words and you take one thing away from this call today. And you guys, I am just like you, right? I have to show up. I got my water, I got my stuff. I'm present. Okay, cool. My kids hear me, prepping myself, preparing for like what type of energy am I going to give out, right? I now command my subconscious mind to direct me in helping as many people as I can today by giving me the energy, the strength, the humor, the passion, whatever it takes to get people to change their lives today. That is a mantra that runs over and over in my head that I learned 15 years ago from Tony Robbins. And so you guys, peak states do not just arrive, you demand that of yourself. And I also want to encourage you guys, in the future, when you come to a training, when you come to an online Zoom, when you come to show up with your cameras on, how you show up here is how you show up everywhere. You see, it is now 6:55 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. I will now go on to a 7 o'clock call, Pacific Standard Time, and then I will get my son ready for school, hop back on for 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12, and then a 1 o'clock, and then go to the doctor's at 3:30 today. And every single time that I will be on the call today, I will be present. I will be here with the same type of energy, and all that is chosen, my friends. Show up here how you would expect someone to show up for your session if you were the one on the mic today. So you guys, thank you. Let's all stay connected. You guys could find me on Instagram. It's just my name, Elias Astuto. I would love to have you in my world, and I would love to be in your world. If you ever need anything, my friends, I'm always here for support. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and make today a day that truly matters. Peace, my friends. I appreciate you having me.